Finse, we are live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. After a long wait, we've been having some technical issues, but that one is sorted out. And I'm having Tabiso all the way from KZN with Vep from Gauteng, the hub of everything that is actually happening in the show. But anyway, on tonight's show, we are going to talk about Banyana Banyana Kosafa Championship Tournament and so also talk about Bafana Banyana Banyana, the Euro tour that is currently happening, and there are some sour results, but stay tuned, just be there, don't go anywhere. This is Sofen Ramego, by the way, man, coming to you live, Women's Football Unleashed on this day, Wednesday. Every night we make sure that we give you one of the best show around the world concerning women's football. But before we get into the deeper things, let me just introduce to you Tabiso, all the way from KZN, my brother.
Sabingelela offense all the way from KZN. Sibingelela Gauteng. Pep, I hope you're good. Yeah, thank you for having me again. Looking forward to today's episode where we get to unpack all the action concerning women's football in South Africa.
Yeah, and Tavep, can you definitely say something to the viewers at home?
Yeah, no offense. Siyabingelela ama-viewers ekhaya. There's a lot to talk about in football. We saw a lot of things this past week. Ballon d'Or, Banyana Banyana, doing amazing things. Bukosafa, we saw a lot of goals. So yeah. We have a great show ahead of us.
Thank you so much, Tavep. Indeed, there were a lot of goals and there were a lot of sophisticated, one will say, in terms, though we know some other people around the world were not happy with those awards. Even South Africans were not happy, as we know our goalkeeper was well representing us in the side of the world, the overseas, the Ballon d'Or, and obviously Tabiso. Anything that you for anything, especially over the weekend in terms of sports. We're gonna have Tabiso just in a meanwhile. Vep, anything that you are looking for in terms of the highlights that are were played, the highlights that we have. It's Namibia versus South Africa. South Africa won by 1-0, and also Eswatini, South Africa won. Actually, South Africa won all their matches. Oh, Tabiso is back. Tabiso, I was just going to say, did you have a fantastic show in terms of the Ballon d'Or before we get into the highlights?
For me, I think Uguti, our boy deserved it. You know, Williams, you have to look at his career going all the way back to Supersport United. He has been with Supersport United for 19 years, you know, joining since 2004, making his debut in 2012. And, you know, looking at the last two seasons before joining Mamelodi Sundowns, he played each and every match for Supersport United, joining Mamelodi Sundowns. And nakhona kwi-Sundowns akafikanga wahlala ebhentshini, ufike wasebenza. He's got trophies and awards under his belt, and I think he really did. But then again, because he was up against the best in the world, but I think Uguti, he deserves it. And yeah, for Uguti a nominator, it's a good thing for him. Hope he continues doing izinto ezimnandi.
I think it's a real booster in terms of all the African teams that they really can compete in this kind of awards. But other than that, Martinez also deserves it because we know he's goalkeeper for Aston Villa, one of the shopkeepers around the world. He won the World Cup with the likes of Messi and Domadura from PSG. He also one of those goalkeepers from Italy, which is he's also doing a very good job. But in looking at that, he came number 9, beating Jakobus. I think he's from Germany, if I'm not mistaken. He beat him. So Williams, we are saying congratulations for that milestone, for that achievement. It's one of the best in the back, and we say halala as a South African. But coming back to you, Verb, because I know today you're having a good job on our side, making sure that this episode number 3 is well and live, and we are streaming live. So the most controversial awards, Vinny Jr. You know, he didn't won that award, and it was won by Rodri from Manchester City. Anything that you'd like to add before we go into the highlights?
Well deserved by Rodri. I mean, guys, let's give Rodri his props. Let's give him his flowers. The guy played exceptionally well. Let's think about it. His performance from Man City. They played in the Champions League. They got knocked out in the semi-finals, and he performed very well. They won the league, their domestic league. I mean, they went to go win the Euros, and he played the entire tournament, and his performance was exceptional. I mean, what was Spain without Rodri in that tournament, guys? Me, personally, he deserves it, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but however, Rodri, well deserved, spot on.
You know, as a big fan of football, I think they really rob Vinny Jr. because if you look at Vinny Jr. in terms of scoring those important goals, taking the ball from the back line into the final third and making sure that he deliver. I mean, Tabiso, one can agree that Rodri was robbed. I mean, not Rodri, Vinny Jr. of this award. But again, it's one of those awards that we cannot really have a say because, I mean, in terms of journalists are the ones that are voting in and making sure that, you know, maybe the award goes to their relevant people. But it's one of those, man. Have you have anything to say heading into the award, which was very just for me, Tabiso?
Yeah, one thing for sure, I think Nama journalists that were voting also had a top, you know, to separate between these two. As you mentioned, these are two players who are able to drop deep, collect the ball, make those runs, and to go face goals. You know, and I think it was a really difficult decision. But yeah, Rodri Naye, he also deserves congratulations to him.
Yeah, we're going to go into the highlights of, I think, Seychelles. Eswatini playing against Banyana Kosafa Championship tournament that is currently held in Gqeberha in the province of Eastern Cape, making sure that we give you one of the best show around the world. This is Women's Football Unleashed, Disky Queens Talk Show, making sure that every Wednesday or Tuesday we give you that show live, looking at all the highlights, all the transfer news, all the insights, and all the action unpacked. So just we're going into the highlight of Banyana versus Seychelles.
Is Keisha Hendricks
trying to get the ball on target and fantastic off the underneath the crossbar and into the back of the net.
Even if you were one of the tough goalkeepers, look at that. It dips on the last minute. It hits that crossbar. As it drops, it goes into the back of the net.
Fantastic strike. I think she backed herself over there. Of course, a good technique shown and a fantastic strike.
Sometimes you can see return to sender. There's Mutluchalwa. Keeper spills it. Kisha! 3-0.
Fantastic finish. And the crowd goes wild once more.
Very lethal. Did well to actually switch flanks and come to the right-hand side. Not spotted. The keeper not making sure. And this is what we're talking about, Dane, saying that weather conditions of this magnitude or of this nature are a nightmare for a goalkeeper. Goalkeeper made the save. She needed her defense to come the ball firmly at that. Mutluchalwa will take a strike!
The tip just completely misled the goalkeeper there. You know, she could have done better, but that tip there was the reason for her.
The right foot she let rip, and the keeper had no chance. Curtains. The bounce of the ball also deceiving. Going right through the goalkeeper. Well, 4-0 is the set will be bulging. South Africa not done yet. In the air, jackknife, mistake, 5. That's the 5th goal. Jackknife, Khadebe delivering across, and header, and keeper makes a hash of that. Looked very easy, looked very simple. And I think the lack of with goalkeepers and height and set pieces as Asanda Khadebe whips another ball. Keeper goes out, makes a hash of it. That's the 6th goal. It's Kisha. She's on a hat-trick. She will celebrate. She walks.
Must be at the far post, ready to be there when the ball arrives, and fantastic. She's there to tap it in home to complete a hat-trick.
You got to anticipate. And the keeper, they're making a hash of a simple ball, and Kisha says, you know, those are kind of things that I have my daily bread, and she put that in the back of the net with such ease. Beautiful country that has an abundance of nature. Oh, this is painful. Matatiken, Fred is Asanda, who did well to stay on her feet. As Musa! Oh, somebody's opened up the floodgates.
We were just speaking first off about Musa getting into that box more often, and there on that occasion she's in the box and she can redeem herself by saving this penalty. That's the only way she can redeem herself now.
A yellow card and a penalty conceded for Musabe. The report card will on the job at hand. Dooley is there, so is Paula. Masaba gets the right way, got fingers to it. You can only but imagine what that goal does to the bench of the Seychelles.
What a score, a big score, 8-1 from South Africa beating Seychelles by 8-1. It was really floodgates were just open for Seychelles. They couldn't hold the Banyana ladies in terms of stopping them scoring. But again, I'm gonna go back to Tabiso. Tabiso, your views on the match?
I Shazili Seychelles, like they really humiliated the Seychelles, and they really showed Banyana Ukuthi they are a strong side, and the fact that most of these players they play week in week out. You know, they've got that is doing so well the Hollywood Bet Super League. Some of these players they have played or some abroad, and they are bringing the experience together to South Africa. And when playing against weak sides like Seychelles, able to score such amagoli amaningi kangaka, 8-1. That's a big scoreline. But then again, the Seychelles now, I think they need to go back to the drawing board. They really need to go back to their structures, be able to come to such tournaments, participate, test as well. Because from this year's tournament, this was not a contest. They just came to donate 3 goals to the rest of the teams in their group.
I think if I really look at the goalkeeper from from the highlights, you can see that it was most of the time it was just poor goalkeeping from the goalkeeper, because he's supposed to be saving, he's supposed to be the last defense in terms of keeping Seychelles into the game. But again, not taking anything away from the ladies of South Africa, Banyana, making sure that they really net those goals and converted their chances into goals. You can look at the likes of Keisha Hendricks. I think he's going to be one of the top strikers in the Hollywood Bets next season. We know that there are two teams who entered, Ezinvelo from KZN and also UCT from Western Cape. They have entered the Hollywood Bet Super League for next season. But Keisha Hendricks, looking at Motlogela also from TUT, I think he's a fantastic player. But again, the captain of Banyana, come on, he's a fundamental player. I'm talking about Smith. Smith is a really good player in terms of marshalling that midfield and making sure that he really scored those goals. Vep, any views when you look at those highlights? Any views that you like to add looking at those highlights? Because it's 8-1, man. It was just one of those scores that are rating.
Now, honestly speaking, Offense, watching those highlights, Seychelles team, they must go look at that goalkeeping department. There's no way. There's no way.
But Vep,
let's be honest.
I think they should be looking, in each and every department. Like, though they are not scoring, there is nothing in the midfield.
Okay.
In the defense, you saw some of the balls, just being messed up by the defense. And the goalkeeper, but goalkeeper, there were some balls there that she really could have done better. But so Yonke in that team, they must just go to the drawing board. That development,
Yeah.
Because afelandelayo sibone ukuthi bayakhulisa babuye kwenye ezayo.
Okay, but and also with such games, it goes to show that our South African team or the federation, they should look into, you see what they did in the first team. They took them to a European tour. For us to be able to compete, go World Cup, and actually give a lot of teams a problem, I think now we should start looking into playing Nabo England, your Denmarks. Those are like teams that will help our national team improve. And we can also compete Guma Olympics and Guma World Cups. But however, the girls, they played very well, man, in this game.
I think the coach Maudi Kumalo made sure that he assembled one of the best girls around the league, because I think Jessica Williams, he's the only goalkeeper in terms of the playing in the overseas. She's playing for Burgess FC, if I stand to be correct here. But again, looking at the ladies like Sikelelo Mhlanga from City Led, and also if I look here, and also Nobahle Mdlelwa from Lindelani FC, we know Lindelani is not going to be relegated, saved by the bell, by the way, because we're going to have 18 teams next season. It's some of those things that are really happening in Hollywood Bets, and you can see that, like Veb, you mentioned earlier on, that, women's football is also growing, and it just need a little bit of sponsor, that injection in terms of finance, and making sure that, those girls, they can live their dream and play abroad. But Keisha is a wonderful player. But again, we're just going to go into the highlight for South Africa versus England, after South Africa was trashed by Denmark 5-0 down. Nothing else they could reply with. But again, England versus South Africa.
So Mead with the corner, decent delivery as well. South Africa dealt with the first bit, but not this one. Leah Williamson, just what she needs. And look at the celebration from the England captain. A burst of emotion. Kelly works into Letitia. Plenty of options here for Mel Letitia. And looking for Clinton in the middle. A combination made at Manchester United and a second goal for England. And Grace Clinton's second goal for England. And she's a threat. Attacking that ball from deep. Brilliant defensive work not that long ago, but doing the business at the other end.
It's a brilliant team goal.
England giving it to Catlana, who's quick and direct, and with a brilliant chance for South Africa. And what a finish as well. Well, South Africa's star player from the last World Cup scores South Africa's first ever goal against England. And it came from an England mistake, but Catlana still had work to do, as he certainly did.
I still do believe South Africa lost by just a margin. They could have come back from that goal, because even Katlane scored from an offside position, but that goal was ruled out. Tabiso, I mean, what a fantastic game. But before we mention anything, your views when you look at those highlights, what do you think? What do you think what happened? What do you think Banyana Banyana could have done better playing against the European champion?
Yeah, offense. I think it was a good game by South Africa against England. Looking at their 5-0 defeat against Denmark, from a 5-0 defeat by world's number 12 to a 2-1 defeat by world's number 2, it shows signs of improvement. Also, South Africa had a really good second half. You know, even in the first half, they had some chances that they were not to make use of, and you know, in the second half, started to see South Africa connecting the passes in the midfield, being able to penetrate a lot more in that England's defense. And yeah, I think it was a good game. It's a good test for Camp. But that first goal, man, I think it defense really done better there. I mean, you look at this to Williamson. It went through defenders there, and it found Williamson all alone. Not Williamson, the captain from England. It found her all alone in front of the 18 area. They were in front of her, who just couldn't take that extra step to interrupt or to interfere with her shot. And yeah, I think it was good attack by England, but also poor defending by South Africa. Looking at the second goal as well, it could have easily been avoided, but they were confused by the style of attack from England. You know, they had two players going into the same to go for the head. It was the second player who came late to Williamson, who was able to head the ball into the back of the net. And she gave goalkeeper Swartz no chance, I mean, to make a save, because it just bounced right in front of Swartz, and there was nothing she could really do other than just to see it go into the back of the net. But a good comeback, as I mentioned, but a good try to come in the second half, and that goal by South Africa to console and, you know, to take at least a goal heading back home. I think it was a good goal. So credit to South Africa and to African Football Association, together with the coaching staff. We saw a good South Africa playing against the world team.
I think before we go to Vep, I still believe that the ball coming to the box should have been dealt with a little bit earlier on than what I saw. It was more like ball watching from the defenders or from the players of South Africa, because they give the gap and they were punished. But again, you know, can we also go into the goalkeeping department and say we do have a longer goalkeeper who can deal with this kind of challenges? But are we going to go in maybe into politics again, saying why Andile Dlamini is not the goalkeeper for this game, especially because we know, Tabiso, that they are going to throw those crosses, and you can see those two goals, they come from the cross. They could have done a little bit better, but again, quality goals from England. Not to take anything away from them, they are a good quality side, because we know They are players that are currently playing for the likes of Manchester City, ladies, the likes of Manchester, Chelsea, the likes of West Ham, and it's big teams, and the league is it's well in. Structured, one could say, but in terms of the goalkeeper, are we really gonna stick to Swart, or are we just hallucinating, or we just having illusion as fans to say we want Andile in terms or
Unfortunately, offense, it's not up to us to say Yuguti no Andile Magavim. But it was good to see her in the second half, coming in. And there was that shot that she managed to actually pair it out away from goalmouth. Yeah, I think you are right. We do have and can offer something, especially in the air. And in that second goal as well, England, that was not directed first run. It was directed the second runner that was in. And I think Andile would have probably came out at least against Kulumuguti. No, she came out, she didn't make a contact with the ball. I think she would have definitely came and made the save the first time of asking before we even had to defenders to head the ball away. Yeah, obviously anything away from England, that's a good tactic, sending in two players into the same direction to go for the same ball and obviously confusing the defense. But we really needed also someone like who's been with Mamelodi for a long time. Well, but yeah, looking at Andile at Mamelodi Sundowns and looking at Kaylin is a regular at JVW. She's been to JVW. Perhaps that is another factor that we could also consider. The fact that Kaylin is doing well week in week out. Whereas Andile, there's been a couple of times where she's been dropped and she's not been played, and Kaylin is kind of making it difficult for Andile to find a way back into the squad.
I think that's a good take. Vep, anything when you look into that you maybe want to add on this one?
Yeah, no, I agree with Utebs in terms of it defending here too. I wasn't sure who was the main marker and Nele Mang sweep. For an example, the second goal, if I consider, Muto Hedileng Bolo, she was like they were ball watching. She was free to take that header into the net. And also, adding on to what Teps is saying, one thing I like about Andile, she's aggressive. And especially when it comes to set pieces. Yes, she would have tried and went and punched the ball, but Gungono si conceded saying she tried to go for the ball. Unlike Bakshaygaji, Oswartu Shayiwe lapaya. But yeah, we could have done better defensively, and also I like how we started playing more the second half of the game. So the girls did give the game their all.
I think I'm even speaking of. I saw one of the Banyana players. He really kept 50 caps. I'm talking about Kolisa Mbiane, Foxy Fox. They call him at the Mamelodi Sundown ladies. He's got a 50 cap. That was our discussion before we go into the Ballon d'Or Awards that happened, I believe, in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. 2024 Ballon d'Or, there were controversies, people been robbed or snapped. Either way you can say it. But again, congratulations once again to the Euro champions after beating Banyana 2-1. Making sure that they really prepare for the championship. But as for Banyana, there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of preparing for WAFCON 2025 in Morocco. It's not going to be an easy tournament, one would agree. Tabiso, Are you certain now that Desiree Ellis this squad sorted out looking into Morocco, WAFCON?
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. I think yeah, we are ready for WAFCON. We should be, and we were preparing in Africa. And like I mentioned, we're playing against the best teams, the best clubs in the world in Denmark. So yeah, we are, and especially looking at the performance by South Africa against England. Yeah, it was a great performance. Already, although Morocco is sneaking kancane, but yeah, we're going to take this squad and see Ed nabo Hendricks laba basuka COSAF. I
Yes.
think will be good. Yeah,
Mhm.
because COSAF has really shown us, the using of having two squads, one for COSAFA and one for other matches such as AFCON, such as friendly matches. It really is our depth, in terms of how ready are we in participating in tournaments such as WAFCON, such as the World Cup as well. And I think looking at these two squads, there are certain players you can take from the COSAFA squad, bring into the WAFCON squad. Players such as Hendricks, as I've mentioned, players such as Mutlukhelwa, they can really help in terms of bringing
More
that
depth,
hunger
yeah,
and
more,
determination, yeah,
yes.
of trying to help us win with AFCON. So yeah, I do think we are going to win, quite certain.
Definitely, we still have two games to play. We are going against Jamaica and also play against Jamaica. Two games, yeah, two games for the Banyana Banyana Euro tours that is currently happening in Europe. But focusing on the Ballon d'Or awards that happened in Paris, I have few awards here that were very astonishing for me. But I will, like I said, we just going to go straight into them. Men's Ballon d'Or, Rodri won that one Copa Trophy. It won by Lamela Yamal, a boy from Barcelona. He's doing wonders for Spain and also Barcelona there, and making sure that they won against Real Madrid in the El Clasico, beating them 4-0. What a score! Wow. And Gerard Muller Trophy, Kane and Mbappe took that one. Men's Club of the Year went to Real Madrid, and Johan Goofy Trophy went to Carlos Ancelotti. We know he's one of those fantastic coaches in Europe, making sure that he does one of those comeback, Tabiso and Vep. If you think Real Madrid is out, you got something coming in the second half, and they know how to win those. They can come back from those games. But other than that, and then we go to FC Barcelona Women's Club. It's the Women's Club that won, and Emma Hayes, Women's Coach of the Year. And then it was, if I look here, it was Club of the Year. It was also Barcelona for women's, and then Trix Socrates is Jennifer Hemos, and finishing off with women's Ballon d'Or was Itana Bonmati, all the way from Spanish. Spanish is playing for the national team of Spanish, and she's also playing for Barcelona. Jens, any interesting in when you look at those awards that we mentioned earlier on?
Obviously, the most one Elorin people have a problem with Kia Rodri, but however, everyone in this list deserves it. I would have liked to see Ronan William in the list, but it's okay.
I think Vepi, he did very well in terms of, he saved one of those penalties when we were playing against Cape Verde, keeping 4, making sure that he keeps 4. it was more like witchcraft for Cape Verde players. They couldn't believe their eyes that a goalkeeper can save a lot of penalties in a shootout. But Tabiso, anything that you're looking into, and also Real Madrid won Club of the Year. Real Madrid, they are not convinced. They lash out in the media with the outcome of the winners for Ballon d'Or, especially men, the president. Yeah, Tabiso.
Yeah,
Any views?
I, I think yeah, Real Madrid looking at now, looking ukuthi ngabe bayikhompithela nabo bani board. I think they say bayithatha. There's nothing we can say about that. And also, in the side, they really doing well, showing signs of dominance and competing in their league. Lamine Yamal is those exciting players, young players who really deserve to be up there. And I think we're going to do a lot for to getting that award in the upcoming years. He's really going to show things. So yeah, I really do think he's one of those players who really deserves to be there. Even for him to just be nominated, just like Williams, I think coming to South Africa without that award should not really yabo ukuthi umehlisa umoya phansi. He should look nomination and be like, okay, that means I was recognized. That means there's something I'm doing good in South Africa, like you mentioned, against Cape Verde, and we also saw the time he was not available for Ibafana Bafana when we had Usipho Chain to fill his shoes. To fill his shoes, we saw Guti. He's quite an important player in that Bafana Bafana Williams. He really deserves it, and in our hearts as South Africans, he is our winner. But again, to the world, congratulations to the goalkeeper who took it.
Now that was truly remarkable. But gents, you have to agree with me on this one or disagree with me that Ballon d'Or is going to be interesting in the next coming years. Better, let's have legends voting for best players awards in terms of these awards, and coaches, not journalists, because yes, journalists, they might be visible in the world of soccer, but again, they have not played. Some of them, they have never even set foot in the pitch. And what gives them right to be voting for such big awards in the world? Because now they are complicating things for everyone, because we can see who's the best player and we cannot see again who's the worst player. We must also have an award of the worst player. But again,
offense.
Fence. You are against.
Agree
you
or
are
disagree,
against
gentlemen?
Yes,
winning the Ballon d'Or. You are against Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or, guys.
I'm
Yes,
not
offense.
against
I'm a
Rodri winning
legend.
the
I'm
Ballon d'Or,
good.
but I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a legend
Yes.
bias.
Yeah, definitely. Because
Do you believe so,
Baban
Tabiso?
Bama teams were.
Yes.
And Bazofuna.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Some they expect to, some players should leave certain events to go and score for a certain team and win for that team. I'm not mentioning any names, but I'm just saying legends should be biased to their teams.
Yeah.
They will not want to give players their flowers. They will not want to give them their bells because at some they will feel like, okay, this player has achieved more than I have achieved, and then it won't be good for. Let us the media decide who gets to win this cup, and if we don't disagree, well, it's a democracy, so we vote. If this many votes, that means if he's got less votes, he loses. But at least it was a democracy, and media, we get to see them week in, week out playing. We get to study them. We get to watch them even at our own time. Just to be able to talk about them, to analyze their styles of play, their teams as well. Like I mentioned, Williams from Super Sport United, he was doing wonders to Bafana Bafana, helping them win that bronze medal in the recent AFCON. We as media people, we siyahlala phansi sibabheke lama players, whereas ama-legends hayi bafethu. At least ama-legends lawa asebenza kwi-media, they can come in and have a say, yabo.
No, it was very controversial awards, but before we end the show, we are going to take a look at what is going to happen over the weekend in terms of Hollywood bets. If you are coming in, we are just chatting and having a conversation on Women's Football Unleashed Disc Talk Show. One of the kind, one of the best. Tabiso from KZN and also Vep from Gauteng province, the hub of everything that is happening in the show. Mamelodi Sundown versus TUT Matatanza, the Tshwane Derby, and on Sunday we have University of Western Cape versus Gianni van Beek. Any thoughts, gents, before we close the show?
Two interesting fixtures. Siyobukela ibhola ke la. Yeah, liyodlalwa ke ibhola ke la. One question. Babuya nini? When are the Banyana players arriving? I don't think we're gonna on all the teams. If there's players abayodlala in the Euro tour, they'll be available for these games. But however, a team like a Mamelodi Sundowns, a JVW, I know they have depth in their squad. So yeah, we are still gonna see beautiful games this weekend, and I'm excited.
Yeah, since we mentioned that one, there were games that were supposed to play, and they were on last week. It was University of Western Cape versus TX Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken. But again, the COSAF Championship tournament is also taking place. South Africa is in the semis, and most of these players, they are playing in the league. So yeah, I still believe it's going to be postponed again this week if we stand to be correct. But other than that, Tabiso, any views if those matches can take place? University of Western Cape versus Gianni van Beek, JVW?
Yeah, Uvep talked about JVW having depth in their squad. And, I'm going to talk about the kind of players they have, in the midfield, in the forward department, and also in the defense. They've got exciting players. They've got players who are capable, who have potential. And hence, I did say this before that I think there might be an upset there because everyone is expecting UWC to win because UWC is chasing Mamelodi Sundowns, have that 0.001% chance. But JVW, they're also a side looking to prove themselves, looking to finish in a better position. Yeah, but I think, in an exciting fixture, UWC, you believe JVW have the potential set UWC. But sometimes the TUTI, unless Sundowns can do something to their team, to the 11, I don't see them lose that game. And I don't see them also doing something to their starting 11 because, they really need to at one point now to make sure they've won the league to claim the league title. I don't think they'll be doing to starting it in the game.
Yeah, I think it will be definitely disappointing for Mamelodi Sundown ladies to lose the championship just with 1 point. But other than that, I think this is how we end our show tonight. Next week, we look at better things and say better transfer news that is currently happening in the Hollywood bets. We have two teams that have entered the Hollywood bets, Izimvelo and UCT from Western Cape. But other than that, gentlemen, thank you for a very good show tonight. Bare mudimu utusa baba itusa Tabiso. I don't know. Say something to the viewers before we let you go, my brother.
NgesiZulu thina uNkulunkulu usiza oyisizayo. So yeah, balakhi ke la sekuthiwe there's going to be 18 teams and they are not going to get relegated. They are very lucky. They must show us next season ukuthi, they must pull themselves up. But otherwise, thank you very much. Great episode. Thank you. See you next week.
Taveb, before I let you go on this evening, anything you want to add? Our director, our main director, the man behind the notes, thank you very much for having us today, Taveb, making sure that, we deliver one of the best show around the country, if not popular, by the way. Not yet popular, but we will be definitely, we have the numbers going on. Just make sure that you subscribe to our KCS Sports channel and make sure that you follow on Facebook, KCS Sports. Web file. The web. Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. That's it for me. That one is a spear at the back for Taviso. But not next season, because definitely next season we're going to have Hollywood Bats relegating teams that are going to go into Sasol League. But by the way, this is Sofenta Ramego, Ophelia on KCS Sports presenter and KCS Sports anchorman for the Women's Football Unleashed, making sure that we give you all the news and interview. And next week, be tuned because we have someone on the show for the very first time. This I say, hasta la vista. Until next week, bye bye.